All right, everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is James with the Soundboard team. This is week 3 of our social media training. I think you are going to get a lot out of what we're going to cover tonight and next week, particularly because it's all about Facebook. You know, the last 2 weeks we've been talking about Twitter, which, when used right, I think is a powerful platform, but is definitely one of the weirder ones. Facebook is super familiar to pretty much everybody. But my goal over the next 2 weeks, and then we will spend a week on Twitter, and then we'll come back to Facebook for one last thing, is to really help you think about it in a different way, because we've all been pretty programmed by what Facebook presents to be consumers on the platform. And we want to be more than just consumers on the platform. We want to be contributors and prospectors. So that's where we're going. So friendly reminder, just real quick, our 5 steps to social media success start with education. You got to know your way around these things to come across as a real person. You got to have good content going out. Hopefully the soundboard is helping with that, but also helping you to feel confident to go out and tell your healthy living story and be personal, which is part of your brand. We're going to focus on that some more tonight, the branding side of it. We're going to talk in the coming weeks about the analytics side of things, which helps us understand what our audience cares about. And we're also going to talk about the conversation piece tonight, which does help you get out there, be that authority, which hopefully results in you growing your business. So back to that branding idea, we talked about it the first week with Twitter, in that it's super important how you come across on your profile, because you always have people watching, whether you know it or not, and regardless of whether or not you think they are, they are. So let's think through that with Facebook. So one thing, just real quick, with Facebook profiles, if you've got your Facebook profile filled out, I think it's a good practice to update it on a fairly regular basis. Keep it somewhat fresh. Keep it looking good. You certainly want to, put that good foot forward. I'm surprised at how many people don't have their profile filled out. Of course, you do have to have a picture, the smaller picture, but people oftentimes pick odd things for their background. But keep in mind when, there's our good friend Janet Black right there. When you're looking at your home profile, your background picture, and this is not a great one because it's got so much dead space in it. But when, our monitors are so huge now and they have such high resolution, that I know a lot of times we're on mobile, but when people are on desktop and you have some photo in here that was originally shaped as a square and it's got the top of people's heads cut off, or it was a low resolution photo, and so when it blows up to this frame, it's really grainy. Don't do that. Take the time to find either a better resolution photo or something that fits better to go back here. The next thing that I want to talk about with your personal profile is under here. When you click on your edit profile button, there's a couple of things up here that you can do real quick, but go ahead and scroll down to the bottom and do edit your about info. This, I believe, has been in place for a while, but Facebook has added some back end updates, my understanding. And so if you will take the time to fill a lot of this out, where'd you go to school? But one thing that they've done, and I've done this, I did this going on a year ago, is you can put in all the places that you've lived with time and date stamps, okay? And so what this lets you do, what it lets Facebook know about you, obviously, is where you were and when. But after I did this, I was surprised at how many times Facebook recommended friend requests to me based on those locations and based on people that I had worked with before, or people that I had known, or people I'd gone to church with, all based on that time and location stamp. So take the time to do this, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how frequently Facebook will throw something up in that, recommended thing, and you'll be like, I remember that person. And it's a great way to go back and make those connections. So you can also put some contact information in here, as much or as little as you want to put. I think as a business person, it's a great idea to have a phone number in here. You can put your email in here. The reason that they hide this, and this is a good thing, is because scraper bots that crawl the web looking for email addresses to exploit, they're not going to get it from Facebook, so that's a good thing, but people can email you. But, whatever you want to put in here, you can put your Juice Plus site or your other social media profiles, all that stuff. And then this stuff I think is probably less helpful. But in particular, go ahead and take the time I recommend to do, the places and the work and education, just again, so you can get connected with people from your past a little bit better. Okay, so that was the thought there. Any questions on that before we head into the good deep stuff? All right, so the conversation side of things. On the rare occasion when I get a piece of feedback about Soundboard from somebody who says, it's just not working, I always come back to this point, and what we're going to highlight tonight is, are you a billboard and you're just posting, and expecting the people to just flock to you because you have spoken? Or are you taking the time to engage, to talk to people, to be personal, all those things? Remember, the whole point of Soundboard is to provide content for you so you can have the posting side of things taken care of, especially if you link your Buffer account. You can schedule stuff out ahead of time. If you don't know how to do that, I'll show you in one of the coming weeks how to do that. It's so great. You can schedule out a week's worth of posts in about 15 minutes and not think about the posting side of things, and then you can take the time to converse with people. But what we want to talk about tonight is how Facebook operates, why they show you what they show you, and how you can shake free a little bit from Facebook's dictatorial algorithm that wants to keep you occupied and entertained and not really informed. Okay, so here, the first three bullets here are straight from Facebook's terms of service, and then the last bullet is from a New York Times article. But let's look at this real quick from the terms of service. So straight from them. Facebook was built on the idea of connecting people with their friends and family. That is still the driving principle of News Feed today. So that's your home feed. Our top priority is keeping you connected to the people, places, and things you want to be connected to. Great, thanks Facebook, right? Starting with the people you are friends with on Facebook. Okay, so the question we must ask from that statement is, how does Facebook know the people, places, and things you want to be connected to? Well, obviously they know the people because that's your friend network. How do they know the places and things? Okay, how do they know what you care about? Well, obviously you like stuff, but is that really what you're going to see? Okay, more to come on that. Second bullet, your feed should inform. People expect the stories in their feed to be meaningful to them, and we have learned over time that people value stories that they consider informative. Well, if that's not the most redundant statement I've heard today, no duh, people value things they consider informative. Okay, but what does that mean? When I hear people complain about Facebook as a platform to grow their business, the number one complaint I hear is, when I go to my home feed, all I see is Juice Plus stuff, my team, and my customers. And I'm talking to the same people about the same stuff over and over and over again. I'm not getting in front of new people. Okay, well, that is because Facebook has learned over time that people value what you consider informative. Well, what happens is, over time, the people that you engage with on Facebook are the people that Facebook put at the top of your feed. And so over time, the topics that you engage with are the topics that Facebook puts at the top of your feed. Okay? Twitter and Facebook do not operate the same when it comes to what you see. On Twitter, everything is chronological. The newest stuff is put at the top, and the oldest stuff gets pushed down, okay? And if you want to go back in time, you just scroll. Facebook's not like that. Facebook puts what they think you care about at the top of your feed, and all the other stuff goes way down. Now, I'm not saying it's not there. It is, but you got to scroll for an hour to see it. So how do we get around this or shake free from this ironclad grip that Facebook has on your home feed by constantly showing you the stuff that it thinks you care about, which you do, but you don't only want to see healthy living content. You don't only want to hear from the same 15 people over and over again. How do we stop that self-fulfilling prophecy at the top of your feed and shake it up and make it a little bit more diverse? And how do we get you in front of new people is the big question, okay? Third bullet here, Facebook, they're just serving it to you like it is. Your feed should entertain you. We've also found people enjoy their feeds as a source of entertainment. Why is that? Well, Facebook has made many statements that they would like 100% of the content on their platform in the next 5 years to be video content. Why is that? Because it stops you from scrolling. And then you've been sitting and staring at a slow motion cat video of cats falling off of couches for the last minute and a half, and you cannot get that time in your life back. It's gone. I'm sorry, it's just gone. So how do we help shatter that? Stop feeding me this stuff, Facebook. I want to grow my business, not waste my time. Let's leave that last bullet for a little bit later, okay? So how do you gauge success when you are posting and hoping for people to engage, okay? Here's a great example of a post. Ruth is an NMD. She's actually in New Zealand. She posted this a while back. This is a soundboard message that she posted. So it's an article about walking and running. This is exactly the kind of thing that you want to see happen. Now, the time zones are weird here because she's in New Zealand, and these people that comment, not everybody is. But I want you to notice what happens. She posted, and the first comment came in on January 20th at 10:46 p.m. Okay, and then the conversations back and forth about, do you like running or walking? Do you like exercise? Blah, blah, blah. The last comment came in almost 48 hours later. Okay, so what happens is, as posts get engaged with, they begin to take on a life of their own, and they stay higher up in people's feeds, and they continue to get put at the top or near the top of people's feeds as posts get reacted to. This is why when you log onto your home feed, you may see a post at the top of your feed, and when you check your feed again in the evening, that post is still sitting there. It didn't get pushed down the list. It's gotten a lot of engagement. People are still conversing around it. And so Facebook thinks you're going to want to see that again. Okay, and so that's how your feed becomes so full of healthy living stuff, your team, and your customers, because those are the people you are engaging with on Facebook. So therefore, Facebook thinks those are the people you want to engage with. You see what I'm saying? So let's talk about this. How do we make this happen to our stuff as business people who want to get in front of more eyeballs all the time? And how do we escape the bubble? So two things we really need to think through. This top graph is how Facebook values content and actions on what happens on the platform, okay? So up high is more weight, meaning more value. Down low is less weight. Over here, these are objects. Over here, these are actions. So here is the objects. The most valuable, most weighty type of post that will stick around for the longest is a video post. Again, Facebook knows that videos stop people from scrolling. And people who make videos on Facebook now know that they will autoplay in people's feeds, but they're played in mute. And so they will put subtitles on the video. And now you're reading this video, you know, about grandma's skydiving adventure that went terribly wrong. And again, you can't get that 2 minutes of your life back because we know she's okay, because they wouldn't have put it on Facebook if she died. All right, you get the point. Anyway, that video has stopped you from scrolling. Now, next most valuable thing are photos, which is what Facebook was built on, right? The next most valuable thing are links or articles that you share. And finally, the least valuable thing is a status update, which when you sign on to Facebook and they want you to type, what do they say? How are you feeling today? Facebook doesn't care. And you know what? They know other people don't care because we're so trained visually for videos and images. So this is why these things are better. Now, once things are posted, they begin to take on a life of their own. Again, they float, they stay at the top of your feed or other people's feeds based on what's happening to them. The most valuable thing that can happen to a post of yours is that it gets shared. So it will stay at the top of other people's feeds longer. Then comments. Okay, so people are talking about it. Likes, which businesses pay thousands and thousands of dollars for all these likes, but what are they really worth? Seems like Facebook doesn't really value them. The least most valuable thing is clicks. Now, I don't want you to totally dismiss this because basically this means, did somebody click on the article, read it, and leave Facebook? Well, Facebook values this the least because it gets people off their platform and onto articles and other websites. But it's still an important measurement, and I'll show you in a couple weeks how you can tell if people are clicking and reading your articles. So keep this in mind when you're posting soundboard content. You know, we're always looking for good articles, videos, and images so that you can have these, you know, good kind of posts going out. But now, how do you encourage and invite these kinds of things to happen to your posts? All right, so now we need to talk about this big math thing down here. You didn't know you were going to get into some algebra, did you? So this is Facebook's Edge rank. This is how they determine the value of a post. There's a couple of factors. The thing that I really want you to unpack and understand tonight is this affinity score. Your affinity score, on Facebook is your relationship between you and someone else in your Facebook friend network, okay? All of your Facebook friend networks, all of your Facebook friends are not created equal. If you got on Facebook in 2010 and you accepted a friend request from somebody who you went to elementary school with, and you have not seen that person since then, and you think, oh, that'd be fun to find out how that person's doing, so you accept their friend request. And that day, you click around on their profile, and you see their pictures and their kids and their grandkids or whatever, and then you don't think about them again. And you never communicate with that person through Facebook and haven't for the last 7 years. Then yes, that person is in your friend network, but you have a very low affinity score with that person. You are not seeing their stuff because it's not being put near the top of your feed because Facebook thinks you don't care about that person. And maybe you don't, okay? But Facebook thinks you don't. So what do we need to do? This is the single greatest tactic that you can do for yourself. I'm about to give you the gold, how you can turn Facebook into a prospecting platform, okay? So keeping this affinity score thing in mind, you're going to go to your Facebook and you're going to go to your friend network, and you probably have way more friends than I do. And you are going to find somebody in your Facebook friend network who you know that you have not spoken to through the Facebook platform, and maybe in real life, in years. And what you are going to do is you are going to visit that person's profile. You are going to comment on a recent post of theirs. Not about Juice Plus, not about work, not about business. If they posted something about their family or a trip or something, quick comment on there. Wow, looked like y'all had a lot of fun. So fun to see this. They don't know that you're on their profile doing that. They, of course, assume that you just saw their photo. Now, what happens when you do this is you dramatically increase the affinity score between you and that person. We have two reasons for doing this, and we have a business motivation behind it. One is, and I think I said this the first week, but I'll say it again. You Juice Plus people are the nicest people ever. And you really care about people, and you really care about people's health. And you're not leading with promises of Lamborghinis and houses at Lake Tahoe. You just want people to get healthier, and you have an answer for them. So take that mentality to that, again, missional mindset. You want to get involved with people. The second thing, though, here's the business motivation, is if you increase your affinity score with somebody, then they are going to start seeing your posts more frequently. Because guess what? That person that you have a Facebook friend relationship with that's 7 years old that you haven't spoken to since then, they don't see your stuff either. So if you're posting all this great healthy living content, who's seeing it? Your team? Your existing customers? Like, that's good, but that's not growing your business. So we want new people seeing this. This is how to do it. This is your warmest cold market. Okay, because your Facebook friend network is pretty much a cold market based on the way Facebook treats you. Turn it back into a warm market by doing this. Perfect example. My best friend from high school, Ben. I accepted, we went to different colleges, lived in different continents, lost touch, didn't talk for a long time, became Facebook friends. And I realized that I had not been seeing Ben's posts when I started doing this experiment a year ago. And so I did exactly what I'm telling you to do. I went to his profile. I saw that he posts all the time about his kids and his family. I had not been seeing any of them in my home feed because of that low affinity score. I posted on his wall about a band that we used to like that was back together and touring. And we had this funny conversation back and forth. Hey, great to see you. How you doing? How's the kids? Hey, let's go see this band. Blah, blah, blah. Now I see his stuff all the time because I have made myself sticky again to him. I have a high affinity score now with him. So if you will take the time to go through and 2 or 3 people a day, a week, however much time you have, find that person that you know that you haven't seen their stuff in a long time on the profile and say, I would love to know what that person is up to. I'm going to go post on their wall. And you are going to begin to shake up your Facebook algorithm so much, you are going to be seeing new stuff at the top of your home feed all the time. And more importantly, from a business perspective, your stuff is going to be showing up in these people's feeds at the top because of your renewed affinity score. Okay, this is an absolutely critical thing to do if you care at all about trying to get in front of new people on Facebook. So again, this is the number one most valuable thing that you can do with your time to shake loose of that top of the feed bubble. Now, if you get on your home feed and you scroll for 45 minutes or an hour, you will begin to see the posts created by these people that you have a low score with. But if you scroll on Facebook for an hour every day, you're not going to make an MD this year. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a waste of time to just do that and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. And we get so numb to information and so numb to what we're seeing. You're not making progress. So take the time to do that. Now, we talked about the weight, okay? So if you have a high affinity score with people, you're putting out content that has a lot of weight and people are reacting to it and doing these things, then the decay rate slows down dramatically. So your post doesn't just go out there and go and sink. It will stay around, it will stick around, and people will continue to like and comment on it for 2 days, okay? Just like Ruth's post here. All it was an article that she threw out there, and it started picking up that kind of traction. Now, back to the question of how do we have this happen? We've got to leave behind the mentality that I am on Facebook, I have spoken, people will come. Okay, we're all narcissists at heart in a way when it comes to social media. We all have said, we do this, I do this, I have posted. Why aren't people commenting? Why aren't people liking me? Well, it's because I haven't liked anybody else's comments, or post or talk to them. Okay, this has got to be a two-way street. This is where the conversation piece comes in. When you post something, please take the 5 minutes to comment on somebody else's post, photo, whatever. Share something to somebody else's timeline. Okay, we've got to just got to get away from this idea that it's almost like on social media, it's like talk to the hand, because I've put out my content. Now I'm not going to check in again. I'm not going to check my notifications. I'm not going to check what anybody else is doing. Here's what I have to say. Now come consume it. Come absorb it. We can't do that. So once you begin to tackle this problem head on, and it is a problem, the way that Facebook treats us, because it just treats us like we're a bunch of brain dead ninny hammers that just sit there and just absorb, and we watch those stupid videos. You know, take the time. If you do have a friend that posts that kind of junk all the time, don't unfriend them, but unfollow them. Okay. I taught middle school for 11 years, so I'm friends with a lot of former students. We never know what we're going to find here, so let's watch out. But if you find somebody, okay, these drive me crazy, and you may like these, and if you do, that's cool. But those videos that's the top down of the table, and it's a hand, and they're stirring eggs, and it's like their fast motion recipe video where somebody's making brownies or whatever. Those just light me up. I can't waste my time. I can't waste my eyeballs. If you post those on a regular basis, I'm sorry, I'm going to unfollow you. They just burn me up, okay? So if you like those kind of videos, sorry, not insulting you. But if you've got that person in your feed, and we've probably done this a lot in the last political season because it got so toxic, but here's a little button at the top here. If you don't know, it's here on every single post. Unfollow. I don't want to unfollow Juan because she's my friend. But see what it says? Stop seeing posts, but see friends. Take the time to cultivate your home feed a little bit, okay? Man, Land Rovers, that's sticking around, friends. But okay, just those kind of examples. If you're seeing stuff that you know is wasting your time, and that friend is posting that junk that's just not quite funny, just unfollow them, okay? It's not a big deal because remember, you're sitting on a huge market here. Go back, take the time to re-engage with people, take the time to up that affinity score, and I promise within weeks you will really like the way that your home feed changes, and that the way that your posts start getting reactions and engagements. Okay, you will notice a dramatic difference. Scout's honor. All right, I have talked and you have drunk from the fire hose. If you are not aware of it and have not signed up for Soundboard, we have been running a promotion that is 20% off annual plans. And we had so much demand for it across the weekend, and then people missed it. We were going to end it at midnight last night, but we've decided to keep it open through the end of the month. So if you've got team members that haven't signed up, tell them through the end of the month, 20% off annual plans. It's the deal of the year. If you have any questions, please drop them now, or you can Vox me later. I'll keep it going for another minute or so while you have time to type and ask questions. I hope this is beneficial and you had a nice time. And again, thank you last week for putting up with my children and my sense of humor. James Bond, that's me. Bond, James Bond. Anybody else? Thoughts, comments, questions? All right, Phyllis, you are welcome. Y'all think I should start a podcast? Ha ha ha. All righty. Well, I'm going to shut it down. We'll see you next week. Next week, we'll talk about Facebook business pages, and we will talk about deeper levels of prospecting on Facebook outside of your personal home feed. So don't miss it. All right, I'm tapping out. I'm going to go put my kiddos to bed. See you next week.